right now your mind will be giving you so many objections, and you're going to be thinking, there are just some things in life right now that are really bad and they're just going to be really hard. And sometimes when something really harmful and unjust happens, aren't I justified to feel negative about this situation? Isn't it natural? Isn't it just completely natural I feel disappointed and hurt? And it's this simple. Do you want negative results? Most people think that the emotions people experience are dictating from external experiences. So someone says something painful to you, like you get broken up with, or something disappointing happens in your life, and all of that stuff is what's creating the emotions that you're feeling. So it's like this: when something good happens, you feel good, or when something bad happens, you naturally feel bad. So with this understanding, your emotional state is dictated by what's going on around you or what's happening to you. But if we draw from ancient timeless wisdom, or what the ancient sages say, that the emotions you're experiencing, they're not from your environment. They are from what you think about that's happening in your environment. And that's then creating your emotions. And this is something that you can completely control and change. You can change how you see it, how you perceive it, and how you want to respond. And it then gives rise to you being able to control your life experience. If you can grasp the fact that your emotions, they're not happening to you, they are a result of your thoughts that you are choosing to think. So, if you can gain emotional mastery, this can be a truly beautiful thing, because you can learn to leverage it to your advantage. If you're having difficulties in your life and really having problems connecting in your relationships, or maybe you're attracting the wrong kind of person, or you keep experiencing conflict, it's from your emotions and thoughts that these feelings, they're blocking you up and they're keeping you from succeeding in life. Most of us blame the circumstances, the people, the situation that we're in, but the real core issue is the emotions that we feel as a result of those situations. So let's talk about how emotions and thoughts influence you. The mind will show you evidence of how those problems in your situation are real. The mind will create detail, all the evidence that you need to prove to you why you should allow those harmful thoughts and feelings. So, for example, if you've experienced a breakup and you are thinking that you're never going to find someone to love you again, it will feel so real. The mind will go into fix-it mode, and this is the mind's way of coping. Find a solution for that problem in a practical way and completely bypass addressing those thoughts and emotions altogether. Your mind could say, that person or my ex makes me feel so angry, or my partner makes me feel really loved. And we feel or see these externals as the cause of our emotions. We experience the emotions like anger or happiness, and we then take action based on those emotions. It's like you're telling yourself, however someone else treats me, or what's happening in my life, is what dictates my emotional state. And then we are seeing that our actions are based on how the other person is treating us. So we get stuck seeing the other person or the situation as the cause of our emotions. This whole paradigm is deeply self-betraying and one of instability. But I'm going to break it down, what's really happening here. And so you have this situation. Let's use the breakup as an example. And your ex broke up with you and you're feeling really bad. And you focus on your ex, what they said, and really what you think you may have lost. And you have an emotional experience in this scenario. And usually it's pretty painful, this emotional response. But here is the thing. In between the situation, which in this case is the breakup, and your emotional response is a filter of interpretation. And this happens so fast that you're not even consciously aware of it. And that's because the unconscious mind, it just skips over it so fast, and you go straight into the emotion. And the emotions seem and feel natural, but there is a filter there. And you can take actions based on the emotions, and those emotions create the result. That result creates another whole cycle, and usually it's a painful one. And then you're in what I call the crazy 8 loop. But if you can gain control and awareness of your filter, this is the secret to your happiness. If you can start to get more conscious, aware of your internal filter, that process in your thoughts, this will impact your emotions. Then you'll begin to have the life that you truly want and deserve. And if you don't do this, you're leaving the interpretation up to chance. And whatever is in your conditioning, no matter how unhealthy, you're going to get the result, which usually means unnecessary suffering. So let me break it down for you even more. Every time you have an emotion, it's because your mind gave the thought before the emotion a particular meaning. I'll give you an example of this. So your ex broke up with you via text message and you're angry about it, rightly so. But the thought process could go something like this. My ex broke up with me via text because he never loved me. He never cared for me enough to talk about it in person. He does not see me as even being good enough or worthy enough of that. And the emotion created from that thought process is deeply painful. But let's use another example. So again, your ex broke up with you via text message. You could filter your thinking by thinking to yourself, he's really shut down. He can't face the confrontation to see me in person because he's not equipped to emotionally deal with it. He's avoidant and he couldn't manage the depth of the connection. So the mind has filtered the situation in a totally different way. The emotional response to this will just be vastly different. And it doesn't mean that it's void of pain at all, but the first example is significantly more damaging in how you respond to the situation and the emotional reaction that you are creating. You are robbing yourself of your own internal power. It's like saying what's going on in your life emotionally is just random or a product of circumstance, but it's not. You have a superpower and you can use your mind to fully leverage that superpower to create success in your life and your relationships. Your thoughts create your emotions. For most people, they're unconscious and they're completely automatic, but we want to break this process down so you can understand exactly each step in how you get to the point of feeling your emotions. So another example, let's say you have been broken up with and the thought process goes a little like this. I had such a beautiful, amazing relationship where I really felt like he was the one. I saw a future with him where we were even thinking about having kids one day. I'm so angry and upset that he could just throw away everything that we had. It was so hard to find this guy and actually get him to commit. I'm never going to find another guy like this again. And now I'm all alone. Like every guy I've been with, they have all been a massive jerk. And maybe all men are jerks. There are no good ones. And I will be old, miserable, alone, and no one to love or look after me. So, this is an interpretation of the situation. How do you think you will feel if you allow these kinds of thoughts? Depressed, angry, upset? When you have these emotions, what kind of actions do you think you'll take? You're probably going to choose the path of inactivity and withdrawal and feel completely stuck and feel helpless. And these are not actions that will bring you what you truly want into your life. Lack of positive action is going to shut you down and completely isolate you. So we see from this level interpretation, it creates a chain reaction, eventually giving you a very specific and undesirable outcome. And the foundation of that outcome rests 100% in the interpretation. Your mind is going to try to trick you now and make up excuses and go back to blaming the event or the situation or the other person. But if you reflect on these principles and really try to allow yourself to accept it, you'll see that you have so much more power over your life than you have ever imagined before. But I know in your mind, you're going to be thinking, this all sounds logical and easy for me to explain, really from a technical perspective, but what happens when I really feel hurt and you're in that moment and it's just really intense and we find ourselves in that triggered state? Even in that state, you have the opportunity to filter your thoughts. So let's look at how we can change up that filter for the scenario. And for example, with that breakup situation, could be, I actually had the feeling my ex was maybe not the best match for me. What if I found a guy that I could have a deeper connection with? And I really like dating. It gives energy to my life of potential and possibility. What if I find a guy who's just more interested to understand me and we just have more in common? Like a guy who's got a better sense of humor or who just really likes cooking like me. So now notice how those kinds of thoughts feel. Get a sense of it in your body and the emotions that rise up with that different filter on the exact same situation. You can't help but feel optimistic, excited, and even energized over the potential. And that's simply from how you've chosen to filter your thoughts. You are in control of creating your current state of being. Rather than waiting for something random externally to give you that happy validation, you need to give you a sense of certainty that things will turn out well for you. And when that does not happen, and when our number one human need of certainty is not met, we default to the conditioning that says we are not enough and things won't turn out well for us. Filtering is your greatest asset and the best friend to your mind, emotion, body, and most of all, your actions. The pain is not due to the thing itself, but your own evaluation of it. But this you have to have the power to be able to respond to. When something happens to you that you perceive as negative, you can choose the response to that, which influences the results you get every time. So you may be thinking, why would I choose to think about something positive when something really horrible is happening to me? Isn't it more natural to think negative thoughts when something bad is happening? It's not more natural when it's harmful, but it is easier and effortless to allow the harmful thoughts. It takes no conscious awareness. We just easily default to thinking about things that make us feel really horrible and hurt. And if you have awareness, real conscious awareness, you can project what happens if you keep allowing yourself to think the negative thoughts about your painful situation. So you can reflect with your own experience in your life from the past. When you were aware you had been dwelling on a situation for an extended period of time. And those thoughts were the kinds of thoughts that you know that are just painful and harmful. That it didn't change the outcome of the situation, but it kept you stuck in it for longer, feeling really emotionally low and taking actions that were not supporting you to what you truly want in your life. It does not have to be like this. You do have the power in your awareness in a way to direct how you feel and behave in a way that you sincerely reduce your level of emotional suffering. You can decide to end that negative chain of self-harming thoughts that you know are bringing you suffering. You want to frame it like this. If you don't learn to manage your emotions, it's like gambling with your life. You will get whatever thoughts and emotions that just happen to pop into your mind from your conditioning. And you will take actions based on those thoughts. So rather than take this gamble, you want to double down and really make the internal choice to get in control of your thoughts and emotions and direct your life consciously. This is the pathway to relationship success. You cannot control anyone else. You can't control their actions, their perceptions, and this you need to surrender to, but you can 100% control how you respond to your situation. Defaulting to the harmful, painful thoughts is like being in the zone of what is known to us. And on some level, we're comfortable in this space. And to decide to filter the negative thought processes and then consciously choose the next thought, it really is like being in the unknown zone. And it is a process. It takes effort. It takes putting ourselves in an unfamiliar place emotionally. But if you can take this leap, you will see your life grow in ways you've always imagined. Getting into that unknown zone of what could be those conscious thought patterns, they will set you up for the right emotions and the right actions. Or do you want to take your life into your own hands? Not mastering your emotions is a form of self-betrayal. It's not investing in yourself in a way in which you have full capacity to correct and direct. And what we hear about self-love and self-care on the daily is that the true foundations of self-love and self-nurturing is to begin to filter your thought process and your true awareness. So why are most of us running our life based on our circumstances? And simply, we were not taught this skill of emotional awareness. We don't learn it at school. And really, generally, we're not taught this within the family environment. So we just default to whatever's being demonstrated. It's a habit, but it is one that you can break. The ego plays a role in this, and that's to break this habit. You have to fully admit to yourself that you are creating your own anger, your own shutdown, your own sadness, and your pain. But who wants to admit this to themselves? It's hard. It takes courage to admit that. But if you admit it, you are taking on a lot of responsibility and you will have to work hard to grow yourself. There is a lot of comfort when you tell yourself that you can't grow and you keep yourself in that known space where you don't want to step into the unknown. You don't want to take responsibility. But this is self-betrayal. It's a lie we tell ourselves to stay in that comfort zone. So, what's the takeaway from this video? Is to take responsibility for how you are causing your own pain. But here is an exercise I'd like you to take full responsibility for the next 7 days. And let's just say you have a negative emotion, you're stressed or you're worrying, you feel overwhelmed, sad, depressed. I want you to stop and notice and take note of the thought that you are creating right there in that moment. Get aware. It's not coming from the other person. Tell yourself, it's my interpretation. What is the thought that's coming up? Get clear, get aware, even write it down. What is the thought that's running your emotions right now? You know, you won't be perfect in this and you will find it challenging, but I can guarantee you will experience a sense of living with intention and with self-empowerment.